Nimba County. May we all kindly stand for a silent prayer.
So welcome here to this broadcast. We are coming to you live from Ganta City, where the Ministry of Education and the IRISE School Improvement Grant launching program is being held. And so speaking currently is the Communication Director at the Ministry of Education, Dr. Maxim Blitten.
We will call on the county school.
And so if you're following this broadcast, it's also being brought to you live on IRISE Radio and here on LNTV.
Of Nimba County, Mr. Patrick Logan.
So Mr. Patrick Logan will now be called on to do an official welcome remarks here at the launching program of the Ministry of Education, IRISE School Improvement Grant launching here in
Honestly, at this time, we in Nimba County are privileged to receive the Honorable Minister and his team from Morovia to us in Nimba. On behalf of the county school system, the teachers, our DEOs, the students, my dear parents, we want to say all of us are happy to receive the Honorable Minister in our county. And also let me mention the county officials that are seated here. We want to say we are very, very appreciative of your arrival in Nimba County, in Ganta City. And we know that your visit will be rewarding for us as citizens and residents of Nimba. As we all are aware, Nimba County has one of the highest school-going population in this county, in this country. So if we receive the minister, and I know that his visit is for a purpose, and we in Nimba will surely benefit from this visit. So once again, on behalf of all of us, let me not forget about the NTAL that is doing everything possible for our citizens, for our children to be educated. You know, when the citizens are educated, then of course the county and indeed the country will be a very successful country or county. And with the background that we come from in Nimba County, we want to say, Honorable Minister, our hands are open for your visit. Thank you very much.
So that was a welcome remark here being made at the official launching of the Ministry of Education IRISE School Improvement Grant.
All right, we want to say thank you to the school board chair.
LBC is bringing this broadcast to you live.
At this time, we proceed with the program
and other frequencies across the country
by the County Education Officer, Mr. Moses Tolobe, CEO, Nimba County.
And so yeah, the CEO, the County Education Officer will now come forth.
The ancestral Minister of Education, Honorable Liberia, Honorable Reddy Maya, Development Secretary, Nimba County, Honorable Mike Blingo, County Inspector, Nimba County, Honorable Amos N.G. Swa, Compassion Mayor, La Chair Nimba County, Honorable Yebe, the County Parent Teachers Association Chairman, Nimba County, our project coordinator for World Bank, Honorable Kessie, all of district education officers were identified in events on the way to monitor schools. Our team and all officials from the Ministry of Education, including the Communication Director, Britain, our principals, specifically benefiting from the IRISE school brain projects, our full assets, the county and district school boards members presently here, our students, parents, and all well-meaning citizens who are in the business of education that are making their way to come through this COVID fracas to witness this important occasion. Thank you. On this opening program, so we started with the servicing for Ministry of Education. There is the first of its kind for the school grade that they are providing for Liberia, all the public schools in Liberia, specifically Nimba County, but also have this among in the account of our principals. So, on this note, we want to, on behalf of this county, the school system, to appreciate His Excellency Dr. George Manawia, President of the Republic of Liberia, for the kind of initiatives. And we continue to need the assistance to our students in Liberia, and specifically Nimba County. We will be preaching. So on this note, we want to say all of our stakeholders today, you are all welcome. And even those who have made their way, because of the platform address, I did not mention your name, forgive me, and you are here, you are also welcome. Our today engagement is strictly about the improvement of our high schools in Nimba. And we have like 24 high schools in Nimba that have been selected by Honorable Abraham Kazilu through the vetting process to benefit the least, according to the paper in my office, is $25,000. And the highest is $55,000. So my people, we know that Jesus Christ raised the dead and we crucify. But this government, let's put our hands together for this kind of initiative. And on this note, beside the school grants, we have so many schools in Nimba County that will be renovated. So most of the time we don't want to engage press because we want to be in action. We have a 6 million projects to be built, developments to be built, and all arrangements have been made. And you have 2 junior high schools in Nimba that will be renovated to full-fledged high school. One is in Ganta, and the rest is in Secretary 2. These are the districts that we don't have high school in my country. And this government is not taking that. So we are very happy. We know politics is hard work. We know that we are not doing the right thing. But this engagement is the applause for the Ministry of Education. It's also the applause of the government, and especially the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Land Ministries that are working hard. And I take my seat. For what you don't understand, Nimba County stand according to the tireless engagement by the county inspector and the development superintendent and the superintendent. They are engaged in government, and Nimba there's a $40 million as a scholarship fund for the public school students. Specifically, Honorable Nathaniel Magay and Honorable Tuan met with the legislature, the Senator Honorable Kuhn, the Senior Senator Honorable Johnson. They were in the program at the time. I was not to find and we were represented. So by this Wednesday, the people will be going and the check will be in the name of the county, and we're going to see the scholars now actually going to go to school, and we're going to make that payment so that we can start as soon as possible in October for our regular semester. So our parents, let us pray and let the good thing continue to come in our face as a citizen of Nimba County for benefit from the government of Nigeria. Thank you.
And so that was an overview of the program by the CEO, County Education Officer, Nimba
We say
County.
thank you so much to
So a live coverage
the
of
CEO
the
of
national
Nimba
education
County,
in the
Mr.
IRISE
Moses
project, citizen
Say
engagement
Durbe.
program is being held here in
Thank you so
Ganta.
much for that information disseminated. The purpose of the engagement, this engagement will be explained to all of you by Mr. Ibrahim A. Benson, the second IRISE project lead coordinator. Mr. Benson, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Madam Blender. The astute Minister of Education, Professor Zhao Ansusoni, our local government authorities headed by the Assistant Superintendent for Development, our county school board headed by the chair of Nimba County, the Parents Teachers Association of Nimba County, the Principals Association of Nimba County, our traditional leaders, chiefs, elders, zones, local commissioners of Nimba County, the student community in Nimba County, members of the media in Nimba, members of the media nationally, including our team from LBS and other private media houses here present, citizens of Nimba County who are listening to us right now through this medium, citizens of Liberia both throughout the length and breadth of Liberia and outside Liberia who are listening to us through the print and electronic media, but also the internet. My colleagues on the IRISE project team, every other education stakeholder here present and those listening to us right now, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am privileged on behalf of the team to be in Nimba County for the project's Citizens Engagement Program, and because our Deputy Minister for Planning, Research and Development of the Ministry of Education, Honorable Arthur Van Cassidy, is not present, and he should have taken the overview of the entire IRISE project, because project planning at the ministry starts from the office. And he is not present right now due to other engagement. I will take the two together. Why are we here? What the project is all about? What are those things to do with the project? Then we'll allow our minister to bring the special message that will give away today to you, and then open the floor for remarks. So let me start by talking about the IRISE project. Lastly, we were on radio. All the local stations were with us last night. And we've been doing this on the national station, LBS, and other stations. But whenever we meet in such gathering, we still need to talk about the project. So in short, The word acronym IRISE came from the project title Improving Results in Secondary Education. So it is the Liberia Improving Results in Secondary Education project funded by the World Bank but owned and implemented by the government of Liberia. So it is not a World Bank project, it's a Ministry of Education project owned by the government of Liberia, but funding from the World Bank. The funding from the World Bank for this project is $47 billion, and the purpose is to ensure that we increase access, we improve the quality and the results of secondary education in Liberia. The project has several components. We have our banner there, we try to provide the major highlights. But first and foremost, the government of Liberia has realized that access to education in Liberia is a challenge. As you move from one level of education to another, access becomes a challenge. And so when you look at it, the trend is such that the higher you go, the lesser the access. So there are more children in ECE, more children in primary, junior secondary, but as they are moving up, then the access is reducing. As a result of that, there are too much overcrowded classrooms across our public school system. That's the first thing. And because there is huge demand for education in Liberia right now, above the supply, private actors enter the sector to support the government, but the premium, the price they go on education is not what we want to write more about. It's far above what our people should be paying for education, especially at the secondary level. So the government, this regime thought it wise to create some competition between the public space and the private space in terms of education by trying to increase access to the public space education and ensure that you improve the quality so that competition can be created, and then every Liberian citizen that wants to go to school will have a choice to make, not because of funding, but just their own choice as to where they want to go. Because the quality of the school system and the public space will be something that you can think about that's globally competitive and locally relevant. So the government of Liberia decided to build schools, additional schools. So under this project, the first aspect is to build 3 additional high schools first. In counties that are experiencing overcrowding in the classroom. And those 3 counties are said here last time. Building a model high school in Ganta here on the land space. On the land space that you currently have a school called Child Friendly or Francis Namu. There's a 25-acre land there. We are going to be using no less than 15 acres to build a boarding complex, academic building, administrative buildings, food complex, multi-purpose hall, everything that you think about will be there. The same will be replicated in Bon County and in Kakata, Might County. So that's just the first intervention in increasing access. The second intervention, the CEO has mentioned in here, there are educational districts in Liberia that does not have public senior secondary school. They only start to junior secondary school at the public space. So what we are doing under the project is to make sure all of the districts will select one of the junior high schools and expand it to the senior high and furnish it with everything that a quality senior high school would need. Such districts are about 25 and 2 are also in Nimba County, so Nimba will benefit from the country. We are thinking about increasing access. When you build new schools and abandon the old schools, the student will leave from the old school and everybody will start going to the new school. Then the same overcrowding we are afraid of will persist. So what we have decided to do also under this project is to get a facelift to the existing public high schools. So across the length and breadth of Liberia, 156 public high schools in our record are all going to be renovated. But that renovation funding and the implementation will not be done by the Ministry of Education directly. We release the money to the school as a grant, and the school did themselves carry out the renovation work. We'll explain more about that later because that's why we are here. Then from there we have another intervention that focuses on our girls. In Liberia, the data shows that as we transition from early childhood education to primary junior secondary to senior secondary, the number of females will just drop, will be dropping as we are moving on. It gets worse when we get to the senior secondary level. So under this project, say the senior secondary school project, we want to make sure we encourage girls to remain in school until they complete senior high school. How are we going to do that? Number one, we will provide scholarship for girls from 10th grade to 12th grade. Especially in counties with high level of female dropout rate from the senior secondary level. And we're going to be targeting about 3,000 girls. That will start in the next academic year and will be starting around October, November. It is one thing to pay somebody school fee and say, go to school and get them per diem, etc. And it is another thing for them to be willing to stay in school. Some of the factors that are stopping the girls from going to school is not just more about money. Some of them are this LGBT, sexual and gender-based violence, and it also extends to the schools. The girls face some problem in school that make them to drop. So another intervention under that area is to make sure we recruit, train, and deploy 200 female guardian counselors across all of our public schools. No public high school in Liberia will not have at least one female guardian counselor, so that they can be role models for the parents, talk to them when all the people. We give them some scholarship, we provide counselors for them in the schools, but that's not enough. The community itself, the parents, the teachers, the local leaders, the tradition, the culture, sometimes discourage people from. So we're going to be doing community engagement, talk to parents, talk to teachers, talk to local authorities, to ensure that they all encourage girls to go to school. And we are going to be doing that also. We believe that they will provide scholarship, provide counselors, and increase our engagement responsibility. To encourage go to school, we will get some results from them. So that's it. The third intervention of the program is the component that has to do with input for quality education, focus on teacher training and teaching learning materials in the schools. Under that aspect of the project, we are sending talented young graduates with a baccalaureate degree outside the country to do their master in the sciences, mathematics, and language arts. And when they shall have returned to Liberia, they will move to one of our teacher training colleges, either KRTTR, WRTTR, ZRTTR, or Tokman College at the University of Liberia, or affiliated with Russell's College of Education or William J. Stockman University in Maryland. Those are the 5 teacher training institutions the government has to prepare teachers. We are private actors, but that's the one that belongs to government 100%. So when those talented graduates come back, they're going to be teaching in those places, training young teachers to go to the classroom and improve secondary education. But that's just one step. What about those that are already in the classroom? Are they qualified to teach? Do they have what it takes to be senior secondary school teacher? We don't know. So on this project, we're going to be going to them also and do some assessments, see the current level of all our teachers in the classroom, know the gap in terms of competence, and provide what we call in-service to deal with teaching any materials. Teachers are in the classroom, no teaching any material, they cannot speak. So under this project, we are going to be developing textbooks and distributing them all of our public schools. And also placing on the electronic platform online that whether you are in public school, you are in private school, you can access it even on your phone and do your assignment. You can access it, you can download it, you can keep it on your laptop, and you can make reference to it anytime. Besides that, we that are managing education in Liberia, from the CEOs to DOs to the central office, we are planning and we are implementing. Sometimes the decisions we are making are products of our own quality of competence. So under this project, there's an intervention to also build the capacity of ministry staff, education actors, so they can be better planners and better implementers of education interventions in Liberia. This project also helped in the fight against COVID. When the public schools were supplied with health kits to prevent the spread of COVID in the schools, this project decided to also provide SIM for all private schools across Liberia on early childhood education to tertiary level. So these are the interventions under the project. The project started since October 2019, after it was signed as a grant, but the COVID affected the project, so there are a lot of delays. But we have now come and gotten used to the COVID, so in the days of COVID, we are moving forward. And that's why we are here today. Why are we here today? I'll give you an overview of the project. Why are we here today? The founder of the project is telling us we want a situation where your country will transition from top-bottom approach to development to bottom-top approach to development. As such, want the project to be more of community empowerment approach. Let the community take on the ownership of the project and implement the project. And one component that was earmarked for that is the school renovation component. So under the school renovation, we have developed a grand manual, train the teachers, the school management, the community people that are part of the school management team, how to use this manual and manage the grant that we given to them. The one that is delegated now, the 55,000, the 30,000, 35,000 that the schools receive, how to manage that money to make sure that you do what you're supposed to do. We have it here and we distribute it on all of them. And I will encourage my team to provide a copy to the superintendent office and provide a copy to the county school board office. Because the purpose for which we are here is to let you know that we are giving them money to do some work and improve the schools. And they are giving out their plan what they want to do. We saw the plan, we reviewed the plan, we approved the plan, we are providing 50% of what they ask for or what they are qualified for to improve the school. We don't want you to sit quietly and that money goes somewhere else and the school remain the same. Always blame government. So let you be aware. How much we have given them, you be aware what you're supposed to do with that money. Ask them the question. Make sure go to the superintendent office, photocopy this document, go to the book, the school book, photocopy this document, use this document as a guide to become public watchdog on those that are implementing the grant. We came to you today to tell you more about the grant and we allow you to ask us questions and we answer those questions. We'll give you feedback. And if there's anything that you have problem with, you contact us. We'll give you our contact line that you can use to get to us with complaints when we get to the engagement aspect. But I just want to say thank you very much. This is the essence of our being here today. It will be live across this nation and beyond. So let's sit and have a very good interactive session. Thank you very much.
So that was an overview of the IRISE project here at the J.W. Gibson School here in Ganta. Yeah, at the J.W. Gibson School here in Ganta. The IRISE project, according to the overview, will provide construction of 3 model
this.
senior high schools in 3 counties. And those counties include Kakata, Magidi County, Bangabon County, and Ganta Nimba County. The expansion of 25 junior high schools to senior level is also part of the project. Renovation and rehabilitation of all 150 public and government senior high schools across the country are also a part of the IRISE project.
Students, citizens of Nimba and Liberia at large, we are very pleased to invite to this podium our most experienced, dynamic, hardworking, sophisticated Minister of Education of the Republic of Liberia, Professor Dr.
The Minister of Education, Prof. D. Ansusoni, will now come forth to make a special remarks here at the Citizen Engagement Program of the IRISE project here in Ganta. Let's now join the Minister for his remark. So this is your BC, LNTV Liberia Live. Bring you live coverage from Ganta.
Refuse to write when I want to make a statement. For whenever you have written, you are restricted just by that. But as you speak extemporaneously, you speak from your heart. So sometimes some of the thoughts that you wish to share come while you are speaking. This is why most times I make representations. This is why most times I make representations out of my heart. The superintendent and members of the local government, Nimba County, the chairman and members of the school board, the EOs, education officers, and all other stakeholders of education. Mr. Kiazulu, the project focal question governing the administration of a 47 million secondary school improvement project. Our counterparts in other ministries, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Youth and Sports, Ministry of Gender, Ministry of Education, of course, many of whom are in town. These 4 ministries collaborate under Pillar 1. Education Ministry is the chair. So in making any representation regarding people's development, I'd like to give them their due share and recognition. Before I state, ladies and gentlemen, much of the protocol were already set by our Kiazulu, and I just want to make this in addition. Students, we are here because of you. Nobody else. The President of Liberia, His Excellency Dr. George Manawia. Sent me on a mission. Sent me to be part of a team that participates in the vision that he has for this country. A vision to transition young people from yesterday's lives to tomorrow. A vision to make young people independent while they remain interdependent, because no man is absolutely independent of God. His vision is to ensure that this country changes. And all of the talks about we were this, we were that, become we are this, we are that. I'm a principal lieutenant, therefore. For the seat I set in and the Ministry of Education as minister is the president's seat. But he asked me to sit in that seat, to perform the task in that seat that he would have performed if he were sitting there. So I'm here. When I move across the country or to visit school, I'm going to those schools representing his seat as a chief educator. They transformed. He's an innovator. Young man. Young is relative to how much young man. I'm not a young man, I'm an elder man. But I've made my time. And I know exactly what happened when you are coming along the roads. I commend him for allowing me to end my duty to humankind as Minister of Education. This is the only time I can work. And he is going to be the last president to give me a job. Whenever you start life, there is a terminal point. When that terminal point comes, you must get on the stage. And at that terminal point, you must do what is almost impossible. Because people don't remember you for what you did before. They remember you for what you did when you were leaving. That's exactly what I'm here. And I've assured him that God willing, as it is written, it shall be done. Ladies and gentlemen, the essence of the project, the details of it, the specific purposes of it, will be talked about by Honorable Kiazalu. I'm here to talk to you as if the president were here talking to you. This country belongs to somebody. It didn't drop from the sky, God made it. If you were born here, that means you should have been born here. If you were not to be born here, you wouldn't be born here. So this is home. This is nobody else's home but yours. Each of us must own it as if it is ours exclusively. If we want to see the change. You are not going to get the Liberia that you do not want to be. There's no way you can get the Liberia that you do not want to be. You must be the Liberia that you want to be. The Liberia that you want to see must first be seen in you. Don't look at me, look at yourself. See if you are Liberian reality. When you own something, the way you take care of it is different than when you are passing through. You are not an ambassador, you Israelites. They are here for a time and they leave. You are not here for a time. The only time that you are here for is the time that God gave you life for. Some of you may never go anywhere else but here. This country is yours. And it will be exactly the way you want it. If you want to mess it up, as messed up as it be. But God willing, with many of us as mentors who have seen yesterday and are seeing today and can perceive a tomorrow that you may not see because you never knew yesterday. You will only see tomorrow with the eyes of those who have seen yesterday. That's why I'm here. Because I saw yesterday. And I know what can happen if a group of people decide to mess themselves up. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is getting competitive. More competitive than it is now. More competitive than it was when we were coming up. If you're not ready, you never go. You must be ready and confident in yourself. Nobody is more Liberian than you are. But you have to choose to be that Liberian that nobody else is. This country is yours. There must be a time that we must start begging. All over the world, asking this person to help. Asking this person to help. When do we begin to help others as well? Rest of you. Rest with you folks. That's why I'm here. I'm here to let you know more if you did not know before that you are a Liberian. You fly the flag with the Lone Star. You are a Liberian, the oldest independent country on this continent. You are a Liberian who helped other countries to want to be independent. You are a Liberian. You are a citizen. Your signature is on all of the UN instruments. When the UN was being set up, we were independent country already. Our signatures are there. Who can be like us? Yeah, we may not have it, but we are recognized. Our names are written in books that many countries' names will never be written in books. You are a Liberian. Be one. But it goes with responsibility. Nothing comes free. Everything that you wish to be goes with responsibility, folks. I'm not even talking to parents here. I'm talking to you in the uniforms. I'm talking to all of those in the uniform, those that I can see. You and you in the diaspora. And you who I can see with my voice. And you too. Folks, we have a nation to transform. I don't want us to keep saying we have war. That's history. Who cares? How many countries they have war? America have. France have. Germany have. Who they have war? But that is gone. We need not continue to wallow in pity for ourselves. We have to have a point of transition. It is now. It is now that you have a youthful president. It is now that you have a president whose life itself is an inspiration for any youth who were thinking to be discouraged. It's now that you have you have a president whose life tells you that regardless of where you come from, regardless of who is behind you, regardless of what you have, regardless, you can set a target for yourself as if you had everything before, but you must be determined to do that. The greatest part of man is his will. The will to do, the will to achieve, the will to become. If you have no will to become, you shall never become. You must become the Liberia that you want to see. When you become my age, what kind of Liberia do you want to see? Is it the same one that I'm seeing? That 174 years, this president is concerned about building roads with a small country that you can almost walk across. It makes no sense, folks. But you must begin to think, not wallow on what did not happen before. Take the pieces that are left. Let's move on. I hope you listen to me. I don't care what we do. I don't care what the parents do. I don't care what the schools do. If you don't want to be, you shall not be. The determination to be who you wish to be is inherent in you. You must rise, folks. Rise up to your space. For each of us have a space. If you don't occupy your space, somebody else will occupy your space. Rise. Stop sitting down and complaining. Rise. Oh yes, your pa died, so who pa died before? Rise up. Your mind got money, who man got money? Rise up. Stop throwing your heart into the ring before time. Getting discouraged because a disappointment has fallen in your life and your way. You're just 18, 19, maybe 20, some of you 16, 17, some of you 12, 13. You haven't started to live yet. All of the time is ahead of you. Your life is a short history and your future is a long period. What in the world do you want to do with it? It depends on you folks. Parents. Our children are our rubber farms. Our children are our gold mines. Our children are our cocoa trees. Our children are our farm. You invest in it, you get out of it. You don't invest in it, you don't get out of it. Believe me, the time will come that will take me 10 minutes to walk from here there. Who do I depend on to hold my hands and take me across there? By that time, if I do not invest in my own cocoa farm and rubber trees and keep complaining that I'm poor, I don't have anything, stop calling God me. Every day you eat something. Yes, indeed, we are not all equal. And believe me, we will never all be equal. Never. We shall never all be equal, except at the time of birth and at the time we die. We shall never be equal. But you can determine to be among the equals. Rise, folks. Get up and stop sleeping. Go the extra mile to make yourself a target. Set a target for yourself, folks. You are not setting targets. You are being advised by your friends. Advise yourself with God Christ. Parents, if you don't invest, you don't reap. When you don't invest in your children, and another struggling person invests in their children, when the children are coming back here with cars, your son is here trying to catch chicken for them. Why should it be that way? When you don't have, I don't have. But the little that I have, I let it go for my son to be better than me. I don't want my son to be like me. I want my son to be better than me. Any parent who wants their sons or daughters to be just like them, they are limiting their children. Rise, folks. Rise. Now we who manage the school, we have an even greater tax. We who run the school, we have a greater tax. We have a responsibility. Many of our parents, they can't even read our children's report cards because they did not exercise the opportunity that they and their parents should have done for them. So just as their parents did not have, so also they don't have, and they don't invest in their children will not have, and the children don't invest in their children will not have. Poverty remains. You're not going to get rich by chance. You're not going to make a good living by chance. There are no blue diamonds that you will find on the cement that you will just pick up and become a wealthy person. You must work for it. You must begin to develop the culture of appreciating what work is. We who teach them must teach them what it means to be who they desire to be. When you get in the classroom to teach, your lesson plan is not just 1 + 2 + 5 + 15. If you have 55 minutes of class, you have a responsibility for the first 5 minutes of the class to let the kids know what it means to be in school in the first place. There are some who come late, dragging, standing out and keeping company when classes going on. You must reach out to them, folks. That's why you're a teacher. Teachers are example. Teachers are stepping stones. I don't care how long this step stays here. It never moves. It doesn't grow. But it allows us to walk under the rise. We are stepping stones, teachers. We are the ones that people walk on our bikes and become presidents while we are still where we are. We are steps. And if you don't want to be stepped, then get out of the place because you are a step. You never get jealous of your students that have walked on you and become somebody. It's your pride. That's your salary. It's not the one that is on the check, 25,000, 18,000, 4,000, all kind of lousy thousands. But it is the fact that you have allowed a child to walk off your bike and become a president, or become a minister, or become a big business person, that you can now stand and say, I have fought a good fight. What do you do where you are? Because you are a stepping stone. Many of us are becoming stumbling blocks, showing the folks the wrong way to life. That's stumbling block. You're not a teacher. That's being evil. When you have a young person who has a good future to be destroyed, that's evil. Teachers, I'm talking to you now. The first time I had a job was March 1970. I was 19 years old. They have never stopped. They are ending with it, with this job. I want to be able to sit and remember during those 50 years, what in the world did I do? Who did I make help to become somebody that I wanted to be? I must have a corridor of records. That's why we teach. And then when those that we have taught become somebody, we cannot be jealous of them. It doesn't make sense. I can't help you to become a chief. I can't help you to become a principal. I can't help you to become a minister. And I'm jealous of you. It doesn't make sense. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here because of you folks. We parents have a responsibility. The teachers have a responsibility. The teachers, even the way we dress in classrooms, are lesson to students. The way we cut our hair are lessons to students. Some of them think this is how my teacher cut his hair. This is great. When I wear my pants and hang it, this is the way some of the students will see it that is appropriate because I'm a teacher, folks. You are ruining a child's life when your conduct is contrary to your profession. You can't drink and come to class. That's a bad example. I'm not saying being drunk, the fact that you took some alcohol, it will smell on you when you come to class. What do you want your students to do? You teacher, if you can't make it, leave it. But you cannot help to destroy a whole generation because you're just looking for a job. Teaching is not just a job. Teaching is one of the two major callings of God himself. Teach or preach. Are you with me, folks? Yes. We teachers have a responsibility. We either do it well or we get out. There are teachers who abandon their classes and go their way, leaving the students unattended. You know a teacher? You know a teacher? You look for a job. Teachers don't look for a job. Teachers look for service. The job we do is service. The pay we get is immaterial. If we are two that left college at the same time, a young person who's a bachelor's degree go to teach and I'm an accountant, I go to accounting, I will own a car before he ever owns a bicycle. But that's his calling. He does not see my car. He sees the children who he gave his life to and gave his expectation to for a good future. That is who a teacher is. So most of the time, God turns the benefit of that teacher to his children. And somebody from his stock will rise to where he should have raised him, but he did not go that path. Are you with me, folks? School manager. Those of us who are Christians. A good school is a characteristic of a good principal. A bad school is governed by a reckless principal. A principal is the frontline soldier. He's the one who leads the team to the actual battlefront. He's the captain of the squad. We are not the general, we say the officer. You are the one who actually stands in the battle. You take the shots. When students are abusing, they abuse you. And even if they were to abuse me, I won't hear it. You will hear it first. Because you are. When the school is a good school, it's because the principal is determined to make it a good school. The principal does not allow a teacher to take off the classroom and go for months. He's not in the class, somebody signed for him, and you take a spade while the children are in the classroom, or you go and find somebody else who is less competent than that person to come and tell them spiral stories. That's unfair. We, the principals, have the greatest task. Long time ago, when we were coming up, they used to call them the headmasters. When the headmaster entered this room, everybody knows that the headmaster is here. Headmaster. When the headmaster entered this room, everybody knows that the headmaster is present. The headmaster does not send students to buy his drinks. The headmaster does not sit with the teachers to drink. The headmaster does not look for cold bowl from students. The headmaster is the headmaster. He is the minister of education in that classroom. He's the president of the country in that classroom. He is the one making you to prepare to be who you intend to be. If it's reckless, you are likely to be reckless. Principals, if you don't want the job, leave it. But don't take it. Everybody is your friend, your comrades. Now, being colleagues does not make you a comrade. Comrades are different. All my ministers, we all ministers of education, we are 12. We are colleagues. But we are not comrades. No. We are not comrades. I'm comrade with those in my category. Those that can tell the same kind of story that I talk. But we are ministers, so we are colleagues. You principal, you are colleague teacher, but you are not comrades. When you become comrades of the teachers, time to exercise the authority that you have as principal, you wouldn't. Because you guys are comrades. Thank you, Baba Brabi. Teachers are not your Brabi. So as I come to speak to you on this particular project, that's not the only project. There are several other projects. But I come to speak particularly to the ownership part of the project. We have to own the project. If we don't own the project, we let it go to ruin. I visited over 400 schools in this country. I visited them across this country. There are schools that I went to when one sheet of zinc was leaking, which is fathers. The entire community, the school leadership will leave that one sheet of zinc to leak until the ceiling spur, until the water run down the wall, waiting for one politician to come and say, come to our aid, come to our aid. Are you telling me that all of you combined couldn't find $5 to change one sheet? It doesn't make sense, folks. That's what I call reckless principle. Reckless principle. I'm not saying you do things that are beyond your capacity. Or one sheet of zinc is leaking, fix it. Now the bank is giving us all this money to rehabilitate the schools. What if the bank sent an inspector 5 years later to the school that they have fixed? And they come and see it as if nobody has ever touched it. You sure they will come back? Even if the bank money is in the vault that never finished, they will find a reason not to come back. Because we are not owning the project. It is for that reason that the bank is saying, give it to them to do. Maybe when they do it with students on the committee, with the leadership in the committee, on the committee, with the PTA chair on the committee, with the entire leadership of 7 people on the committee, maybe they will own it. Because they will see the money as their own money given to them to do a piece of job on their school when they do the work themselves, maybe they will own it. It is from there that the bank recommended that we follow this route. But I was afraid. And I'm still afraid a little bit. Somebody who has not seen $1,000 straight. In one lot, one time, just one time to see $1,000, one time put it in your pocket, get 50,000. You crazy? So what we are asking you, this is why we are actually here to encourage the community. All of you leaders of the community, you are not supervised. You are to be an observer. You are to be a monitor. That's the right word. Monitor. See whether or not the principal of the school and the student are doing the job as they should. Now that's what I'm thinking. I may be wrong. The question, even though there's a team of 7, but the custodian of the money and the books is the principal. And that principal is on government payroll. That principal has a pension waiting. That principal can decide to forfeit all. By putting your money where he ain't where your money has. So the principal has to be particular because it was the principal that submitted the school improvement plan with the support of the committee. He presented it. He said, this is what I want to do with this money. You cannot get that money and you go start digging foundation. You say, well, we need more classrooms. You have to spend the money the way you say you will spend it and you will approve without copy of that paper. You can't get the money now and you start digging foundation to build on it. Because it's not your plan. We want to ask the community to help us in that regard. Our number, 1416. 1416. Britain will give you his number as well so you can call him. But we have a call center. The complaining center. The center where all the teaching people can send their messages. Just call. You don't have to call your name. Just say, school, this. We see that they said they were supposed to, they renovating the place, but I thought the zinc that was poured, I thought they were going to face the zinc as well. The project has gone far. They are painting. I don't see that zinc change. Did the school need that here it is? Thank you. That's all we need from you. Don't call your name, sir. But just make sure, don't say fire when there is no fire. That's our appeal. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the President of Nigeria who are represented, on behalf of the people of Nigeria, we want to express again in this public manner special thanks to the IDA, a member of the World Bank Group, that responded to the Nigerian government call for secondary school improvement and have provided us. Just recently we sent another proposal to the global partnership. We have $5.6 billion approved to do early child classrooms. Because early child classrooms, we don't have early child classroom. Early child classroom, you find it maybe in private school. The government must be showing the way. The private schools, we're coming. We are introducing a digital library in the public high schools. Digital library, for those of you that neckties on now, you won't use it. For those of you who still have your shirt open, you have a chance to use it. A digital library that have every academic information from ABC to PhD. except you don't want to learn. We are providing that. Community leaders, please do lesson 1 3. It goes with 26 computers. Those 26 computers are connected to a server. You can access that server without having data. And anything you want, get it from there. If I stood here and offer Fasam $100 game, I said, Fasam, here's $100. Two things will run through your mind. If you get a serious, I'll give you $100. Why would he want to give me $100? And if in her mind she's not too sure that I will give her the $100, she will never get up and come for it. And I will not go to her. If she doesn't come, she doesn't get it. That means she doesn't believe with the digital library, the information is in there. You got to get up from your comfort of playing and go there. Then you can become the dream that this country wants to see. It shall happen. Because it's written. And God is on our side. But God does not like stupid people. Because stupidity got no medicine. Insanity got medicine. You can cancel the insane person and rehabilitate them. But stupidity is inherent in you. When you climb on top of the building and say, God will hold me, and you jump down, that's being stupid. So I'm praying, it's my prayer that this money we will spend it wisely, because I believe that if we do it wisely and they come for inspection and see that we did it properly, the next thing we will do is to ask and we shall receive. Ladies and gentlemen, Deputy Superintendent, convey a message to the Superintendent that we were here to present this project. And by God's grace, we are hoping that between now and March 31st.
And so the Minister of Education, Professor D. Soni, is making remarks here at the IRISE project citizen engagement program. It's been held here in Ganta Nimba County. It's a CLBC. If you're following us, we're bringing you this live coverage.
Students, we love you now. Many of you are grandchildren to me. And because I have children, I know what it means to sacrifice and bring them up. I forfeited a full scholarship to go to terminal degree. I forfeited it because I started having children and they were all girls. I couldn't leave them with their mom. So that part I didn't ask. The goal that I learned was sufficient to bring me where I'm at. But I'm hoping when I become doctor, when I become counselor, I don't think. If I had left them with a man, anything would have happened. But I didn't. That's what I call sacrifice. Parental sacrifice to the enhancement and the advancement of their children. Your time is up. If you already owe, take the money, put it behind the children. Don't take it, put it on yourself again. Your time finished. Thank you very much.
And so that was the Minister of Education, Professor D. Soni, here making remarks at the IRISE project citizen engagement program that's been held here at the J.W. Pearson School here in Ganta.
Stop wasting the money on yourself.
It is a CLPC LMTV that we're live, bringing you live coverage of the Ministry of Education's IRISE project. They're having engagements with citizens and providing overview of the entire project.
So I want to say, Minister, thank you so much for the education and lecture you provided for us today. I mean, it was so rewarding and fascinating. I want to say thank you, Minister. Simply 1 year minister speaking to the people. You don't take it or you need to wait out. Thank you. At this time, we give you 1 minute to the people that will come up here for remarks. The reason is we have 2 hours with the OB. We've gone 1 hour already. And we'll open the line for people to ask questions. And the question we ask, they will not only come from the hall, they will come from all over Liberia because they are listening to us right now. Someone just called me and they said they're listening in articles and seeing us on our social media. So LPS want to say congratulations. Thank you so much. So when you come up here, not only Liberians watching, there are people in other countries that are also watching and listening. Minister, I want to say we salute you. We thank God for you to be a minister of education at this time. So right now, we will not allow remarks. We have 2, 4, 6, 7 minutes.
Of course, yes, the remarks section will begin by the Nimba County Superintendent, who will be followed by the City Mayor of the City of Ganta. And then 1 remark will also be made by local community authorities. The principal of the J.W. Pearson School here in Ganta will also make a remark. And then the Parents Teacher Association chairperson will follow. The student representative, both male and female, will make their remarks. The women leader, and then we'll move over to the question and answer section. Let's now take remarks from the Nimba County Superintendent.
Our chiefs, our elder, student communities, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Well, on behalf of the Superintendent of Nimba County, Honorable Nelson Kokwe, who would have loved to be here for his own official visit in Monrovia, I want to take this time to say that this project has the full support of the Superintendent and all members of the county administration. The Superintendent and the members of the staff will ensure, working along with the educational stakeholder, to make sure that this project is successful. And with the education provided, I hope that we all will take it in and make better use of it, especially you, the student, because most of you, if you take away smartphone, you will not perform. So there's a need to put yourself to work and be who you want to be. Following friends will not help you in that direction. So we'll make sure to work along with the student, the school authority to ensure that there is value for money in the funding that you are going to provide for the county. And so, once again, on behalf of the superintendent, the peace-loving citizens of Nimba, we appreciate you for coming to us, and we appreciate all the value you have brought to us. We're going to make use of it to the fullest. Thank you so much.
Well, I have a representative from the office of the Nimba County Superintendent making a remark. So the next remarks will be made by the City Mayor of the City of Ganta. And it will be followed by local community leaders to also come forth and make their remarks.
Representation from the Superintendent Office. At this time, we call on the City Mayor of Nimba for 1 minute.
Don't pass it.
Don't pass it.
So Mr. Amos Young, the City Mayor of Gompa City, will now make his remark.
My own name is Amos N.T. Swell, the Lord Mayor of Gompa City. I want to say, Honorable Minister, extend my thank you to the President for all of the initiatives that have been before the year. I've been here 3 years now. What I experienced today will not have any impact. And let me say this to all of us. Honorable Minister, I can assure you Nothing will temper with me. And for that, let me just call those responsible that have been working for more than years. You can see an example where we are right now. This building, it was not a this. We are proud of the principal of this institution and the PTA.
The CEO and the DO1, they are hardworking. So I'm proud of them, and I know that the family your message is taken into consideration. And let me tell all of you, the students, I was here, they very building here, I was here at this 78, I started my school right here. Today, the way in which the teachers train us is not the way now you people are coming up. You are taking blow sometimes for teaching. I want so that the teacher are afraid of the students. I want to let you people know that take the play as your own, as the minister said. Don't be coming from the central center to come to school, then drink coconut or eat plastic banana and talk the time in the street and say the city mayor did it. I'm not the one that did it. Thank you very much. God bless you.
So that's a remarks from the Compass City Mayor. The next remarks will be made by a representative of the local community leadership, which will be followed by a remark from the J.W. Pearson School's principal.
Community leader, the local community leader in Ganta, the local community leader.
Good morning, and let me observe the system. Well, I want to say thank you to the government of Liberia for this initiative. My name is Jan G. Flomo. I'm a civil society actor and media practitioner. Well, I think all of us here are challenged, especially those who are in the civil society and the media sector, to show that the project is going to end up with the desired result. Because we need to monitor what will be done. Let us take this project as our own, as the minister has acknowledged us. If you take a 55,000 billion as your own, it will always look more beautiful, more guaranteed than a government 55,000 billion. And we are seeing all over around here. Please let us make the difference in this project. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nyafromo. They have greater responsibility to make sure that they follow the project to the letter. I hope your team will follow the guidelines and be for compliance. At this time, we call on the principal.
Well, Honorable Minister of the IRISE, we will gather a few people name. It is true, 2 minutes for giving the discipline will not be to the director for a few minutes. Because the grant, we are the beneficiary of this grant. Mr. Kiazulu, who is the project, the head of this that recognized. Honorable Pato Lobola, who is the board chairman with a 12 education board of this country, will recognize you. Mr. Onayine, the PTA focus of the country. Mr. Moses Dorebe, who is our Gatuso, the main feeder of education within the country, that is a prolific football player, that indeed are making the country be stronger when it comes to education wide. With the 12 DEOs, you are recognized. The 5 professional staff, you are also recognized. The NTA president will recognize you, and the city mayors. Our dynamic and energetic principals of the 24 houses who are benefiting from this grant are recognized. The director of communication, our chief, Mr. Martin Peter, will also recognize you. Distinguished parents, ladies and gentlemen, student body, the 5th estate to recognize you. Sincerely speaking, this is an opportunity we are young for a very long time. But it takes a man to be
be a minister before you write such a proposal that the opportunity will come to you. Honorable President, Minister, we recognize that indeed you wrote grant for 47 million. Today we are about to benefit that. More than that, President of the senior high schools, this grant is for us. When they scratch your back, let them scratch your own belly. Because we are indeed to manifest this grant into a fruitful fruition. I want to assure you, honorable ministers, that Nimba County is not just a joking county. This is not a problem for a longer time. Today, the grant is coming to us when we thought that in the perfect manner. We appreciate you for that. But you see a few things I want to look at. You talk about young people to be independent. Today we see young people are in the street riding, whatever and so forth. It's opportunity for us today to be educated in the kind of manifestation. The next thing you talk about corridor of a record. Corridor of record is maybe as a teacher you can make somebody. As I speak now, Mr. Nyanflono, he made me. Mr. Oswald Mangasolo, he made me, he taught me. I see Mr. You are our corridor. They made us and we gotta make people. Teachers, if you happen tomorrow you see your student moving in a good direction and you are make a solution. Thank you. We have done that so great and performed.
Well, next year, you never recognize me, so I can take a food from there. The principal are innovative people. Thank you. We appreciate you for that. At this time, we call on the PTA chairman. The PTA chairman of Ganta, is it Ganta Nimba? Ganta chair, Mr. Yene. He is my own father from San Jose. You are welcome.
Father, we say all protocol are observed and sustained. Well, Mr. Minister, we want to tell you thank you for the privilege that has been given to us for the project. But what I want to say on behalf of the district focus PTA, that we are here, we are giving a great challenge. That is the project that is to be taking place in your locality or in your various district. We are getting the opportunity to monitor, to see to it that those that will do that our work, we must not steal from ourselves. When the contractor comes, you go to them, they let that, please let me take few beds or ceiling or get it. How will you steal from yourself? So I'm asking you that we stand strong because you and myself have love for education for our children. This is what we are doing the job that we are not paid for. Mr. Minister, Senator Akebo, my focus and myself, we are there, the teachers. We monitor them. When teachers not in class, we go to the principal and say, why the teacher is not here? The DO and the CO can bear us a witness. We love education. But one thing I want to tell you, you have PTA director at the Ministry of Education, you have other leaders that are there, and they are privileged, they are paid. We who in the country, we are not paid, and we are the forefront as we are saying about the principle. So we want when to go home, through you, we are appealing to the president and the government of Nigeria to enable us to visit these big countries that have big schools, many schools, that will see to it that the project is well done to the letter. So I say thank you.
You know, that's my father, Mr. Yene. When we were little kids, he used to be with me us when we were playing orange football. I can recall it vividly. Thank you so much. We are here today because of some of you who are very, very harsh on us. You know, like I've written, I can still recall the whipping. Thank you so much, Mr. Yene. At this time, we call on student representation. So we'll call the male first, Then later on we call the female, and we know students are time conscious people. Don't let the time go against you. Remember, you are on the radio.
Thank you. All protocols, Lord. My name is B1, president of this institution, representing the Student Union of Ganta Nimba and their large. And we all together want to extend our heartfelt thanks to DBS administration, the World Bank, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education of Liberia, to have found our ills, points to ameliorate on, in order to keep us on a good environment for learning and to change our educational setup from what it is called now to best. Thank you very much.
Short remark made by the student representative here. The female student representative will now come forth to also make a brief remark.
Where's the female? Mr. Moses, where's the female? Where is the female? Where is Mr. Moses? Hallelujah. You know, we are moving at one time. I want to hear the citizens. Please have it quiet. Please have it quiet. Very good. Wonderful female, well dressed.
I am student Louisa Kebale from this institution. I want to say thank you ever so much for what you are doing for us. May the Almighty God richly bless you all.
All right. That was a remark by a female representative.
Thank you so much. The female representation did extremely well. At this time, we will now allow women leader. Hello, our women leader. One person representing the women of Ganta City. Can we get that representation from you, Mr. Moses Durube? Okay. Very good.
Women in law. I want to take this time to take this time to tell the Almighty God things for today's date, and also thank the IRISE family, and thanks go to the minister. I'm very, very happy about what is happening now. I really appreciate it, and I assure you that this school prayer we are going to work with it, and you yourself you will enjoy us in the long run. Thanks.
Thank you, brother. Put your hands together. Women representation without women, not all going to be here today. The people that are so wonderful, peculiar people, loving people, people who can stand pain for that hardship. At this time, question and answer time. So this is how we'll be looking. We'll call on Mr. Kessie will be here. Mr. Newswa will also be here. The question will be asked from you, and the number to call. We got only 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, the first number is 0777. That's my number. 0777 21 21 97. That is J. Maxine Peter number. Anything you don't understand later on, you can call me on that number. Or you can also better still call 411416. But the number you are about to call now, and we'll put on the radio 0777 212197, and the other number will be only one number for consistency. Okay, so at this time, yeah. Okay, so we have the phone here. When you call, we put it on radio. Everybody will listen to your question, and they will answer from here. Okay, so this is how it works. When you post the first batch of question 5, we will pause. They will address your concern. Then we take second batch. We have 30 minutes left. We are managing the time. Thank you. God bless you. It's time for your questions.
And so it's now time for a question and answer.
Good morning to all of us. I think yes, saying good morning. We just announced some of your schools will be receiving 55,000.
About the IRISE project.
And you are still calm like that. Good morning to all of us. Yeah, now I can hear that renovation will take place right here. So we are glad to be here and we are here. And now is the time for the real issue. Ask all of the questions related to the project. Right? So our first question. So as we await our question, this is what we're going to do. This school grant process started a long time. That means the training first. Before you become a beneficiary of this grant, you must be a public school. That was selected senior secondary public school. That was done already. The principal, PTA chairpersons, and the remaining 5 members of the SMC, which are the students, community leaders, women leader, the teacher. You have to go through a training. And all of our principals, PTA chairpersons, SMC members can attest to the fact that they were trained. After the training, we had the account opening process. And then we just didn't sit down and say, yeah, it's going to work like that. We invited the schools for signing of agreement. So there have been agreements signed already between the school and the ministry. Failure on your part to do what is on the book. The minister didn't add that to it, but we will enlarge the prison in Nimba County to add 20 people there till we can get the work done. So you have signed an agreement already. So this process is not beginning today. It has started. Some of the schools have been engaging me on. They went to the bank. There is no money in their account. That means they started doing something. I expect by this time all of the schools in Nimba County are done with the procurement process of the vendors who will be implementing the job. I ain't hearing anything from the principal. That's true, right? Yeah. So later we need to revisit the thing. So
okay, you ask a question.
We now.
Yeah. Somebody.
The women can get ready for the question. The women get ready to ask the question.
Yes, I'm Pastor Jesse Agueda. I want to thank the IRISE family for this initiative. And also I want to extend my heartfelt appreciation to the Honorable Minister. I want to know, according to what I've heard, this grant is only limited or restricted to public schools and government schools. And looking at the immense contribution of the private, faith-based sectors for the years when it comes to education, I don't know why it's only restricted to them.
And so first question here is, why is it that the IRISE project is only limited to public school or state-run institutions and not private institutions?
Specific people to implement the project, or it will be that the county education board will be asked to monitor the project. Thank you.
And next question here is who is going to manage this project? Let's take the third question now.
This is Pastor Kobo S.P. Bagla, and a principal of the little school, Baxo, Play. I want to say thank you to the minister. What is it if you will not capture into the program, but then you have a little village where a school is, and this was established by the inhabitants of that community. where they went ahead and they did their own thing, but they turned it to government. I want to know whether this project you can also be a beneficiary of it if you were not captured from the beginning. Thank you.
Okay, so we have like 3 questions already. So we'll be also going to the students to ask their questions.
My question is, will the Ministry of Education set a monitoring system to monitor all of the schools that are benefiting from the academic grant? Because we find out that people are not accountable again in our society. When you get a small thing, they want to see that thing, they want to do all manners of things. So, with the education sector set up a monitoring system to monitor the academic process to see how best it can go on.
And the student have asked whether the projects will be monitored.
I want to ask, what will be the charges and these schools that will now undertake the project?
So, what will be done to institutions? 5 questions already. What will be done to institutions that will not implement or be a part of the project? And another question from a student also, he wants to know if monitoring and evaluation will be effective.
Let's come to that very last question. Asking this find the magistrate of Ganta. Find the magistrate. So Friday evening, that's when the magistrate will send the rates.
So we'll now take the response for the questions that were asked. The panelists will now address the concerns.
So look, I said put this agreement. But if you agree with me, all of us need to say this is no compromise. First of all, if we lose the money, the government will charge the government. The government will charge for. They will say this expenditure is illegible. This is not what you said you will do with the money. So you have done it, it's illegible when they come for the audit, it will be out. Then we got to pay from where? So I just want to make, sorry, I just want to make that conversation. That's all I want to respond to. And that's the question. Basically, let's also trust them. Don't think now that they will misbehave. Let's give it to them, hoping that they will do well. Let's be positive. Because when we are also positive, we will pray for them not to be tempted. That is the whole story. Thank you very much. But in the meantime, there are people who normally stay get tempted. They are the magistrate. We begin the conversation on the morning. Thank you.
Okay, we answer the first 5 questions, then we'll follow the next section. Thank you. Thanks for the answer, Honorable Minister. We go to question 4. We started from down now. He asked about the monitoring arm. There are monitoring arms set in place. I'm saying because it's not only at the central office. The district education office will also monitor. So this is what's going to happen. We have 3 tranches of the disbursement. After the first 50% has been sent, we are going to send a monitoring arm to follow every step on the way of the process for procurement of vendors. The next phase, we're going to have unannounced monitoring. We will come to Ganta like we come into our house, and every one of the schools that are benefiting. So to answer your question, yes, and we have it, and it's very strong. Thank you. We talk about the private school, why faith-based schools are not benefiting. So if in this time we have senior secondary government school only, when it comes to the library that will be set up, all of the students will benefit from it. We will not discriminate who come from where. It's for all of the students. But now the grant is for senior secondary school.
Thank you very much, Ms. Fasan Howard. So to add on to Fasan first, the private schools, infrastructure-wise, they have better facelift than our public schools, and that is why World Bank said let's come and improve the fiscal environment of the public schools. So I think that's why some of the money is not going to private schools for renovation, but in the private schools they benefit from other some aspects of the project that she has mentioned. The textbooks, you have access to them, and private schools are already benefiting. I just told you from my overview that we supply health kits to all private schools when the GP was supplying health kits to public schools. But under the renovation of schools, no, private schools are not benefiting. Who implement the project or who monitor the school board or the DO, etc.? I think I got that kind of question. All relates with the question the person responded to. What's the monitoring mechanism? We have a very robust monitoring mechanism, and it is the monitoring. This exercise we are undergoing here right now is part of the monitoring mechanism. Everyone is involved in the monitoring, from the locals in the community to the school administrators to the school management committee that received the grant to the DOs, the CEO, the Ministry of Education monitoring team, the IRISE project monitoring team, the World Bank will send an independent team later on, not even from Liberia, an international friend that will come and go from school to school and look at all your documents to see how the procurement processes went. So the monitoring system is strong. Don't play with it. Otherwise, you will bring the minister's prophecy to reality. We have to build more jail houses in Nimba County for some people to go there. Because just like the minister said, any attempt to misspend the money, the government will have to pay that money back. And you know, if you call the government to pay money back, you're not going to go scot-free. So the monitoring aspect is very strong. That's the reason why we didn't give all the money at the same time. We gave you 50% of what you need to do your work. When you do the work up to 40%, and we come with inspect it and we are okay with that, then we release another 40% of the money, making it 90%. When you do your work up to 80% of what you say you want to do with the money, then we can inspect it, it's okay, we give the last 10%, making it 100%. And you now do it and report to us. So all is meant to make sure we have controls so that somebody will not just run away with the money. So school board, local authorities, everyone should be involved in the monitoring of this project. Let's take the next set of questions. Okay, yeah, one person asked a question, we address that. Community school turn over to the government. Strictly speaking, is a public school. One, it has been turned over to the government, and the government is the one that has now placed teachers there and put them on payroll, is the public school. But let me add this. This project is public and community schools. So if it is a, you know we are all parents now, don't do smart community school. You actually charging money, you say it's for the community, but you are treating it as some kind of private school or faith-based school, but you say it's for the community, but you are gaining something from it. The authorities have to assess it and satisfy it as a community school before they can send the name to us. We have several community schools that are benefiting from this grant, actually.
Yes. Okay, so we're taking 3 more because of time factor, 2 female, 1 male. That 1 year women talking. Yeah. The last week. That's the number you said. 077 21 21 97. That's the number. When you call, we just answer 077 21 21 97.
We'll now go back to our audience to take the next segment of questions.
Standing before you is Mr. Unit 10, Principal of William V. Stockman. William V. Stockman. I think we are one of the beneficiaries on this IRISE project. And best doing, we receive an account which we prevail on our success, whereas later on we receive a communication from the finance office telling us to withhold the account. And in doing so, we were beneficiary on the two projects, renovation and the extension. If it is the case, what becomes of the SMC committee role on alleviating that identical account?
Mr. President, I will beg that. We need to clarify
questions will
this
now
here.
be addressed right away.
So we did mention to you that there are 156 schools that are benefiting from renovation. And there are 25 schools benefiting from expansion. Now, I didn't say this, let me say it here now. Any school benefiting from expansion or any district benefiting from expansion cannot benefit from renovation. Why? When we were designing a project, the data at our disposal at that time says 25 districts, educational districts in Nigeria has no high school. That was what we packaged and sent to the World Bank. That these 25 districts have no high school. So please help us to place one high school there. Then we also told them, give us money, the others that have high school already, so we can improve the high schools, we can renovate the high schools. Time now that the grant has arrived, a district that said they don't have high school started sending in some high schools now for renovation. You want to empower the government of Liberia, we can send that to the World Bank. So what we now say, district that already has that does not have a high school, can only expand them to senior high, because you say you don't have a high school. And that's the reason why when William V.S. Stockman Junior High School senior SMC, we treat them. Why did we treat them? Because you are qualified for expansion. When Flumba Public School senior SMC, we treat them. When we go back to the upper room to sort out database, they were in the same district that we said there was no public high school. There was no Flumba the grant. That's why we did not Flumba. But William V.S. Stockman will still receive the grant, but your own is construction, it's not renovation. It's construction because you are expanding. When we design the school for expansion, we will release that design to you and then we will not release the money to you. Your money is available, please be free.
So the citizen engagement continues here in Ganta. Questions and answers continue.
My question has to do with the construction of 3 model senior high schools in Kakata, Manga, and Ganta. With the one in Ganta, I did listen to the minister, Professor Dao Ansusoni. He said that this will take place on the land at the Ganta Public School or Francis Yama or the child-friendly area there. So I want to know, is this construction going to be a special construction or is it going to be additional to the infrastructure we have on ground there? I want to know.
The female.
And so we will now take one question from a female.
Yes. I just want to tell the Honorable Minister, thank you for this reading out here. One good thing I got today from his statement was gas transition. I really love this word, the transition of gas. But the question I have here is, according to the agency, 5 members, 7 members are secondary to this money. Can this money be used in the absence of any of them?
And so we will take the last question. We will take the last question here. And then we will conclude on the question and answer period.
My name is IRISE, the High School. My question is there any duration from start to end for the school that will receive this grant?
He wants to know the duration of institutions that will receive the grant. We'll now take one more question from a female student here.
If the female as the last question, on level have calls, then we prioritize. Then you delay them when you have to prioritize. No matter who is speaking, one you see the call come because we don't talk to the people in radio land. Then please go ahead, my sister.
My name is Joyce Kulapo from JWBS House. My question I want to ask about the scholarship because some of us in the 12th grade were getting out from high school and we don't want to sit down, want to enter the university. And we don't have the support.
Thank you.
So she's concerned about senior students who are at the verge of graduation. She wants to know if they will be beneficiaries of the scholarship program as part of the IRISE project. So let's take the response to these questions now.
And the duration. So for the young lady, the scholarship issue, you are about to complete high school and you don't have money to go to the university. Is there any provision? I think the minister, I will take the microphone to the minister, he can speak to that authoritatively. Beyond high school scholarship.
It depends on how you finish high school. It depends on how you finish high school. The foreign scholarships that we have, those ones are for because for now, many of the countries that we're trying to send people to, they are now looking for only good results from WAS. If it happens that God gave you that understanding and you set this WAS and do bad to it, then from there you go to go. We're also going to reinstate the undergraduate scholarship program which was suspended in 2020. But we are not going to restore it for all the students because we don't have the resources to pay for all the students. If you go to the University of Liberia, you don't need scholarship because scholarship already there is $2,500 Liberian period. Even less than the 3,000 you now paying as registration fee at this level. So you can go there. Now if you decide that you want to go to Cathedral, then that's a different story. We can talk about that too, but that also will be competitive. Again, we are encouraging women who want to teach. If you are a female and you want to teach secondary school, secondary school, but we have a lot of women in the primary division, C certificate, B certificate. But when it comes to the senior high, you can almost count them. We want that to change. We'll be encouraging female teachers and provide scholarship for them. So if you want to teach, you're my friend. But if you don't want to teach, that's a different story.
Thank you, Minister, for that splendid response. Kill the wire, and we'll kill the spirits for you. So I'd like to speak to the SMC question I will ask. We have 7 members on the committee. Out of the 7 members, we have 2 members that are secretary to the account, right? That can sign to the bank know them. But the remaining 5 has that on the right on agreement. Every consensus reached should be at the decision table, documented with the 7 persons. However, 5 persons makes a quorum. 5 persons makes a quorum. By any decision on withdrawal, spending, or whatsoever under the SMC, the members have to be involved. Another thing, because of grievance, do not leave the SMC. As our minister said, we have ways to channel our grievance. This is the manual for the school grant implementation. In the manual, we show you step-by-step way to address your grievance. So please, the issue of every member on the committee being significant, it is yes. Every member on this committee is significant. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Officer. And I just want to add that even the principal has no absolute authority on the SMC. In the absence of the principal, if other members of the SMC meet and they form quorum, we can go ahead and take decision to affect the entire system. So everybody is important, but only the principal and the PTA chair can directly withdraw on behalf of the SMC. The question on the duration of the renovation, you actually have now until the end of the project, which will be around November 2023. However, the more you delay, the worse for you. The sooner you do your work and get all the report, the sooner we can also release the next money to you. So we don't really want people to delay. And I want to emphasize that the project has not disbursed what we want to disburse. Between now and December, we want to give more money out. The model school that is being built is not an annex to child-friendly school. Child-friendly school will be reduced to a junior high school, and the model school will be a reference model school, not just in Nimba County, but anywhere across the world can attend such a school based on your academic standing. Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right, I want to say thank you to Mr. Kesru and Mr. Nusia for coordinating this segment. We want to see that to radio, to ERPC, thanks a million for your cooperation. We understand that we left with only 2 minutes on this. At this time, we will quickly call Mr. Nusia for the voter text. Please.
Finally today, what's up?
Right after you, please with me for the photo on the platform with the minister, please.
Finally today, most of the principal and PTA chairperson have seen the person they've been calling. So I'd like to stand on existing protocol and say to my honorable men, strong men that are under the pillar of education, thank you. To our role model, he's not only our minister, to some of us, he's our role model. Whenever we listen to him, we add value to our lives from lesson learned. We'd like to say thank you so much, Dad, for coming all the way here to enforce renovation rehabilitation. County School Board, our hard working, you have one of the hardest working county education officer. Please clap for him. He's just like 4G, the human 4G. Just call him and he will make it happen. To our dedicated professional staff, endlessly, sometimes my office, we have meetings and make disclose this. We said we're not going to answer his call again because the man knows how to call. Right? So I'd like to say thank you, Nimba County, to my able-bodied female students and the male student. I know you are going to enforce, even when you have lacked your shirt, you are going to enforce that this J.W. Pearson becomes renovated to the sweetest eye position. How you want to term it? Let somebody stop at the entrance and say, yeah, let me look at J.W. Pearson small. Are we going to do that? If you are going to do that, put your hands together for yourself. We honor your presence to our OB crew. We honor your presence. We say thank you so much for coming. You are going to see most of us. So our honorable MC and my team, my staff, please wave your hands. These are the people who've been working all along to ensure that things happen. I'd like to say thank you so much. More of us you are going to see, and we wish you all of the best, especially to our principals. Thank you for implementing this grant to the fullest. Thank you.
So much. We want to say thank you. At this time, LPS want to say thank you so much for your cooperation. I know now you are just trying to just lay out. Thank you so much. But this announcement is very important. I want the minister to come out to do this announcement. And please listen and be quiet. You're going to hear Lady Minister Sodi back on the podium.
This is now for Nimba. So if the Nimba community radio here, you can share the message. The WAEC exams are not cancelled. The total number of students who register for this year's exam are almost 100,000. We can't cancel it. The 12th grade examination, the WAS exam, will be on schedule September 10th. The 10th grade and 11th grade will remain in school until September 30th. The 10th grade, Mr. Principal, please, the senior high division makes a lot of lessons in 2020. They have also missed a lot of lessons in 2021. We cannot short-circuit their learning process. The 11th graders are going to 12. The 10th graders are going to 11. The lessons that they have lost, they can get it. They pay the tuition, they pay the registration fee, they will get a lesson. So they go home. The people who should go home by the end of this week, the 15 latest are the first to the 9th grade. They can go home. But even though they go home, the 3rd grade, the 6th grade, and the 9th grade will come back to do the WAEC national examination the same month, the 1st week, just before the 12th graders start the exam. The WAEC exam will come for the 10th, 4th, and 6th and 9th. And we are doing that. We are doing that to help WAEC because the roads in certain areas are difficult. We cannot let them go in those counties, administer a test, come back and go back again. So that's why in all the conversation, we have also come to the conclusion by God's grace that those who lost their lives will have been buried also by them. So the ABC children go home, correct? Yes. The 1st to 9th grade supposed to go home this week, correct? Yes. If they don't go home this week, they might not be later than Monday, but they must go home now. They want the time finish. All the classrooms are now for 10th grade, 11th grade. You gotta learn this book here. You gotta stay here. October 1 to October 31st will be registration, entrance exam, teachers preparation, and all what needs to be done. This is both for private school, public school, all together. The schedule is being done, but since I'm already here, let me just let you know. Classes for academic 2021-22 begin November 1. We are not asking for registration November 1. CEO Moses, we are not asking for registration November 1. November 1 Apoglening. We started from November 1 for the first time in 2 years to get our 10 months of school 200 days. From November 1 to August 31st, 2022. The vacation next year will be in September. And then 2023, then we regularize back to June, July. We cannot afford to have this whole COVID thing going into 2023. So that's why I want to just share with you. This is the time. We are now in what? This is August. All of those who don't have money, start looking for it now. Don't wait until time for registration and then you start looking for it. Look for it between now, end of this month, September 1 to September 30. So when October comes, you just go and put it in and register.
Because November 1, school will begin. The school renovation, Mr. Kiazulu, I'm asking if it's possible to challenge the schools to complete their school renovation by March next year. Even though the project has a long time to go, but it does not mean you gotta wait for the last minute to score your final goal. You can score the first 5 minutes. So what we want to finish this school renovation by March 31st, so that the digital library that we're talking about, we can begin to prepare to your school when you finish. Are you with me? Let it happen. Thank you.
As the Minister of Education making announcements as the educational calendar for 2021.
Article 13. Look, the Ministry
And so that's how we conclude our broadcast here at the Improving Results in Secondary Education IRISE Project Citizen Engagement Program that has just been held here in Ganta at the J.W. Pearson.
Including the following: King and Queen contest is suspended until the Ministry of Health can advise us. This government is one and we must coordinate and collaborate. Number 2, no football team business now, because they play for the people to be jumping, walking, shaking each other's hands. So your football team business today is hereby suspended. 3, no parade, no gathering issue again until we can hear from the Ministry of Health. You understand that? You are school. You're not ordinary people. The people who doing that thing and not pay for it on your own, you come in your school so that you can change this country. You can't be people who will change everything, the same thing, they want a difference. So in consultation with the CEO, the football game that's supposed to be played today is hereby canceled because of COVID. Got health issue. When you're not healthy, you not go to school. When you're not healthy, you are not even play the football game. So please submit and be in full compliance. Nima, we beg you. You are more abiding people, but remain so. The next one is no parade in the street. Some of you cannot be activity, just putting the people children on the street. Stop it. If that will be lifted, when I get information from the minister, text to my office, I will go on the Facebook and go to the radio station and let you know. But this is one from the minister text to my office. Please obey and submit. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation. Sarah J. Maxim, approved Minister of Education, Dr. Professor Ansu Soni, Minister of Education. Thank you. At this time, we will all stand up peacefully.
So this is CLBC Radio. We've been bringing you coverage of the Ministry of Education IRISE project. I've just held a citizen engagement program here at the J.W. Pearson School in Ganta City. My name is Anthony Williams. If you have been following this broadcast, we would like to say thanks for following, and
thank you.
We would like to join our studios to take control now.
Before the national anthem and leading the team that we have for the order, we have a plan for you. It's ready. You can be here, the student and the principals, the coming in and the development.